Hello everyone, welcome back to Date Night Movies. I'm Sam,
I'm Steph.
and today we are watching a movie neither of us have seen. We are watching The Creator.
The Creator.
So it's been out for a bit, and it had a lot of buzz around it, mostly for the director, cinematography, the style of shooting. Not so much the story, I've heard, but the buzz that I'm hearing is about the type of filmmaking they did, and a lot of filmmakers have been reacting to it for that sake, but not so much like, oh, Denzel Jr.'s acting is fantastic.
Well, it's not really Denzel Jr. John David Washington is his name.
Denzel Jr.
Well,
Yeah. Mr. Washington.
Yes.
I don't find his acting to be bad per se, but he does have some big shoes to fill.
Well, of course. I mean, Denzel is a legend. I've only actually ever seen Black Klansman with John David Washington, so I thought he was good in that. But as far as this movie, I really know nothing about it. You were talking about it, that you wanted to watch it, and I guess the thing about it that filmmakers are responding to is because it was made for relatively cheap compared to what we're going to see. Is that right?
Yeah, so a lot of times with the amount of budget they had, which was I think 100 million, I think it was maybe between 80 and 100 million, and budgets can be, kind of iffy because sometimes it's like we spent 100 million on the movie and then 200 million on, promotion and advertising, stuff like that. So it's always kind of hard to gamble, but for this case, they spent a lot of money on going to locations, and they really dialed back the equipment and crew. Like, I think they hired a lot of local people, and they went just all around the world filming these scenes in different real locations, and then using CGI and special effects to fill it in instead of just being all on green screen. Another fun fact that I learned, that a lot of the people acting for mocap didn't know they were being motion captured. So sometimes they didn't know they were being a robot or something, as you see in the trailer, but they had very human movements. So it's like kind of like getting the mind of the actor. Like, we don't know if you're a robot or not, but doesn't matter because you're just playing it for the character. Anything else fun? They shot it on the FX3, which is a relatively cheap camera, about $3,800 right now. They use very good lenses on it, so don't think that you can just get any lens you want and throw it on an FX3. But the purpose of the FX3 was very wide ranges of ISO, which means you can shoot in all ranges of light and not have the very grainy footage. If you jack up the ISO on a lot of cameras, it's very grainy. It looks bad. You kind of miss it if you're not a filmmaker, but as filmmaker, you see things. It's like, oh, that looks washed out or bad. But this apparently was all shot with minimal lighting, because we were watching that lighting video, and they need, just for sitting in a car, you need 3 lights, a giant diffusion board, and a balance, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So this was shot very low light. Sometimes they had a guy with a boom light, right behind him, who was getting in with them. So I think they were trying to really show like the Sony FX3 range and possibilities you can get with it. And it inspired a lot of people I know, like, yeah, I got to get that. I gotta do things with it. And I've seen it in action. And comparatively speaking, like, sometimes I've used Reds, which is a $6,000 camera, and it's used more now. But the FX3 was so user friendly for like a run and gun type shooting. So I'm excited to see all that stuff. And I think it was Gareth Edwards. Yeah, so Gareth Edwards directed it.
What else did he direct?
He did Rogue One.
Okay.
He did Monster. He did Godzilla 2014, and a Star Wars Last Jedi, but he got kind of removed from that halfway through. Gareth Edwards, as I've known him, has been very good with scale. So like in Rogue One, like you see them putting the Death Star together kind of, and you can't tell what it is first, but then you see they're putting like the dish plate on the Death Star. And it's like, oh my God, that's so big. And the original ones, it's kind of a small thing. You get close to it, like, oh, I guess it's big. And they get close to it, and they're going through a tunnel. But with Gareth Edwards, he's very good at scale and putting you kind of in a world where you would be like looking up like, wow, that's gigantic, like seeing things from a human perspective, kind of. So I'm pretty excited for that aspect and using real locations and all that stuff. Another fun story, I know we should probably start the movie soon, but another fun story is they used a nuclear reactor for one of the scenes, and they didn't need extras, and they just hired the guys who worked in the nuclear reactor. Like, hey, you guys want to be in this movie? And they're like, yeah, sure, okay. So gets people excited about filmmaking. So we're going to jump right into it. This is The Creator by Gareth Edwards. Nirmata, the mysterious unknown architect of advanced AI. Okay.
Very topical, the AI discussion.
Yep, we're all worried about that.
That's funny.
Gives a little history lesson.
Simulant. Well, that's just not fair. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yikes. He sounds like
He's
Denzel.
channeling that Denzel. Oh, right. No. Frank Sinatra's not banned yet.
Oh.
He's a legless freak. And an armless. Or half an arm.
Who told you our location?
So Americans are evil in this?
What? How can we be the bad guys?
Why he's seen you blow my cover. You gotta give me more time. Orders.
What? What's going on?
Make a baby.
Quick. Star Wars. Star Wars multiple times. Free baby!
Alright, get out of the way of that. Yeah, it's,
That's not safe.
you know.
M?
My. Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
it was good.
I was, besides the things we talked about, I thought that was better than expected. Better than was told. Took a lot from different places, and, the story was, pretty straightforward.
Right.
No gimmicks, really.
No.
And, definitely enjoyed the it had it looked like an older movie, shot very well. But it's like this is what Star Wars could have looked like if it was shot today with the original storyline kind of way. So not a lot of, green screen hokey CGI where it's all fake.
Yeah.
This was real places, real people, very human, which is kind of on theme with the AI, but
it looked very well done. Well made.
Yeah, well made, well shot.
Maybe they could have shaved like 10 or 15 minutes somewhere.
Probably,
It was getting a little bit.
What was it, 2 hour movie?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours.
Yeah, this is definitely you could have done a lot in hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
120 pages probably was maybe too much, but yeah, I would say if someone gave this a 7, I would give it an 8.5. Use that scale. I would go with that.
Yeah.
Denzel Jr. wasn't that bad.
No, he was fine.
I thought that the Alfie was pretty good.
Yeah,
she
was
looks
good.
young, and hopefully more to come from her.
Yeah.
I don't know if this. Are they nominated for?
I think it is nominated.
I would say they
best
should.
Sound, I think.
Maybe not sound, but I think
Visual effects, yeah.
I think they should win because I don't know of a movie this year that, besides maybe Oppenheimer, but.
Yeah, but then that gets into the debate of because a lot of that stuff was practical, but it was still visual, but was it?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
SFX versus FX is is a whole.
But it is nominated for a couple of Academy Awards.
Okay,
so,
so yeah, you can buy a $3,800 camera with some pretty more expensive lens. Get a gimbal rig, and you can do all that if you learn how to, use special effects and CGI and post. But I mean, all the robots you saw were just people that they mocapped, motion captured, and you can do it. You just got to know lighting. You got to know color grading, all that stuff, and you can do this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard, but you can do it. Well, What would you give it? 1 out of 10.
I mean, for me, maybe I 7.5 for
Okay.
me. Like I liked it, but sorry, I'm really tired too. So I'd probably give it about a 7.5. I liked it.
Okay.
It's just not. Maybe it's the genre or something. I don't know. It's not one of my favorites, but I thought it was good. I thought it was well done.
Gotcha.
So.
I would ask, out of all the movies we've seen, I'd say in the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be in the category of like, oh, that was actually a good movie that was not like, I don't know, we saw.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a well-made movie. It's just not for me.
Okay, I see.
Just not for me.
Yeah.
But
I
I liked it.
I'm a sci-fi guy, and I would say this one would be in a category of like, I might watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
But this definitely had an older style feel to me. That maybe like, okay, maybe if we continue on this path, we might get some better movies, better action sci-fi movies in the future. If we follow this trend.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it told a very familiar story without it being like, oh well, it's just this movie again. Like we commented like there's Armageddon in there, there's Star Wars in there, there's iRobot in there. Like there's and that's what we do when we make movies. We take from everybody and so there's also some biblical themes in there too.
Definitely.
So I think and you could say that about Star Wars as well. The Star Wars is samurai movies and Western movies just told it in a different way, and so I think that this is a part of that. So I thought it was well made, and it's a refreshing take on a familiar story.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it. All right, well, if you guys like that, like, comment, subscribe. What do you thought? Tell us what other movies we might want to react to. Movies are kind of harder, so we'll get to them when we can. But this one's been on my list for a while, and just thought we'd sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
We're watching Attack on Titan. We got a few other movies. We're watching The OC as well. So tune in for that, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.